Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Medicom Mafex No. 215, Knight Crusader Batman. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have on the top, Batman. And that's the Batman logo I remember from the 90s when the late 80s, early 90s, when I was really heavy into reading Batman comics. Here we have the new DC logo. Nice product shot of Batman, Knight Crusader Batman action figure, Mafex Medicom toy. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, Japanese print, stuff I can't read, and a lot of other stuff. A barcode, a telephone number. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole, and this is for ages 15 and up, adult collector, not a toy, recommended for ages 15 and up, made in China print, and some other symbols I'm not going to learn. And here on this side, we have Batman, and again, another nice product shot, and the Medicom Toys logo, and that is actually a sticker on there. Here on the other side, it goes this way, and we've got Batman DC, and again another nice product shot of Knight Crusader Batman action figure, Mafex number 215. Then on the back, we've got Knight Crusader Batman action figure, and then stuff I can't read except for 160 millimeters, and then Batman and some other nice product shots showcasing some of the other things you can do with the figure and how it looks with some of the other accessories. DC Batman, Warner Brothers, Batman, all related stuff belongs to them. And then here we have the different accessories with Batman there, and some small fine legalese on the bottom here. MedicomToy.co.jp or bearbrick.com, Mafex number 215. And that, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first up, there's 5 different sets of hands, or additional sets of hands. And I like the way they come packaged on these little posts, so we can actually take a look at them at the same time. So here is, I don't necessarily want to say it's a set of fists, because you'll notice there's a little gap right in here. And what I'm guessing that's for is for maybe the rope placement. So maybe that's what that's for. I wouldn't think that they would give you just an extra pair of fists just for the heck of it. But they do seem to be molded in the blue plastic, and it does have nice molded details on it. So very nice looking. Alright, here's the other kind of reaching hands. That's what I'm guessing. And again, they're molded in the blue plastic, and does have nice molded details in there. So that's pretty cool. And then more splayed out fingers that are more splayed out than the last set of hands. And again, nice molded details, molded in blue plastic, it appears. And that's pretty cool. And then here we have a set of stop, karate chop, or swimming hands, whichever you prefer. And again, it does appear that they're molded in the blue plastic, and don't like to stay on these pegs very well. But again, nice molded details. And then our last set, which are the more like trigger finger hands, but I think it's for throwing the batarang, really. And again, molded in blue plastic, it would appear. And nice molded details. Might have a little bit of a paint app there along the knuckles to give it some shading. So that would be cool. Then next we have his batarang, which is attached to the line, and of course this is bendy wire, so that you can pose this however you would like, and it doesn't seem to remove from this, so that's kind of a thing where it's attached together. Here we have the neck piece of the cowl for when he is not wearing a cape. And it looks like it's got two posts in the back and a rectangular tab in the front. And I'm assuming there's ports on the figure that line up with that. And again, it's molded in blue plastic. And it does have some nice molded details. No paint, it would appear. Now we have his underwater head with his little rebreather in there. And it's very, very classic Batman looking. At least what I think of when I think classic Batman. And you can see it's got some nice molded details there for the ears and for the face and his pacifier. And just the eyes are whited out. And he's got that like scowl up here that all Batmans should have. The arched eyebrow ridges and the wrinkles there in the middle to just make it look like he's angry, because most of the time Batman is kind of angry. Then next up we have the Mafex take on an artist's rendition of Batman, and this really takes me back to those Kelly Jones covers during Knightfall and Night's End and all that, but it's done in a much cleaner style, more like Jim Aparo. For any of you guys who read the Batman books, any of the Batman books during that time, you'll know what I'm talking about, Kelly Jones and Jim Aparo, and we'll even get to another artist here in just a minute. But the gritted teeth and the white of the eyes, and again, just the scowl on the cowl. Very good. And I think it's more than likely molded in this blue plastic, and then the whites and the flesh tone, and then the white for the teeth are added. Now the ears are a little bent, but really that's okay. If you're familiar with those Kelly Jones covers from that era of the Batman comics, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now the last piece that goes on the figure is like the standard cape with the regular shoulders on it. How most artists drew Batman at the time. And nice wired cape. And we may take it out of this in a minute to kind of look at it, but I figure it's more than likely a lot like this one. Now the last accessory is, it comes with a stand, and it has multiple options. And you see it's got 3 ports in it there. And you have this post, and you can, put this on it or this, that's kind of like the crotch piece. It sits under the crotch, and this piece is for connecting either this one or this one, and you can connect it to this actually I think connects without that. Yeah, so if you want to just do the straight pole like around the waist, you can do that. And then we have this as well, which this piece is an adapter, so you can put, oh no, you don't need the adapter for that one. You can put this on it, or you can use the adapter as such and connect, and of course both of those port into the base, you know, in whichever position you need them in. And this one is flexible, and you can use these screws here to tighten it up. So if the weight of the figure is too much and makes it collapse, you can tighten those screws up and it will help. Not every single time, but a lot of the time. So there we have the stand. So that's a nice addition. I like when they include stands, especially on higher priced items like this. Now let's take a look at Batman himself. And again, you know, that head there, he's not happy. He's scowly like he should be. And again, most artists, you know, kind of drew him like that. And then we've got, you know, this shoulder piece with the spikes on it. And this is the way that I remember Norm Breyfogle drawing Batman. He always kind of had these spiky pieces in the shoulder. And who else? Chuck Dixon may have done this on occasion, but I really don't recall him doing this or doing it much. But I really remember Breyfogle, you know, really had the penchant for doing that with Batman shoulders, and that was one of my favorite Batman artists at the time. And then all those fabulous Brian Stilfreeze covers on Legends of the Dark Knight during, you know, this Knightfall period, and those were just fantastic. Some of my favorite artists. And you know, it's not that I don't like Dixon or Aparo or those guys, but when I think of Aparo, I think of kind of just a plain Jane Batman, if you will. He not that he didn't have his own style, but he didn't draw things stylized like some of the other artists at the time did. And again, like this is, you know, Breyfogle was one of my favorite Batman artists during that period. And so let's take a look at some of the other details on the figure now that I've just rambled on for a long time. You know, he's got that nice Batman scowl in the cowl and frowny face, and you can see his ears molded in there, and of course then there's the bat ears. And not a whole lot going on here in the back other than, you know, they've got the wired cape going on. And of course, if you don't like this Breyfogle style shoulders, you can swap it out for the more Aparo style. At least, how, you know, that's what I'm going to call it. And you can see, you know, some of the joint areas in here. And you can actually see a lot of the joint areas in here, and that's fine. You know, it is an action figure. It does have to have joints in it to have action in the figure. So here's one thing that kind of perplexes me a little bit, is in all the promo shots, you know, you just had the plain yellow oval with the bat symbol like this on it. And this one seems to have a bit of an edge around it. And you can see there's, you know, this line and then the outer line. The outer line, of course, is, you know, like it's supposed to be. But the inner line, you know, I don't know why they put that on there. And you can see there's a little bit of where they misaligned the paint a little bit. They're really close up. But it's that line that just kind of throws me a bit. So there is that. It looks like the majority of this guy is molded in the correct colors with a little bit of paint apps on it. It looks like the gloves are a paint app, and the boot tops at least are a paint app. The crotch piece seems to be molded in color, and the belt, the utility belt, as well, and that's pretty much the same on the back side there. Now I will say the mold where the boots and the gloves start, it is raised up just slightly, so you can tell that. And it looks like there might be just a little bit of shading in the abdomen and rib area as far as paint apps go, but it's very slight, and it could just be shadows. So, but nonetheless, it looks very, very nice. Even like some of these leg muscles, it looks like there might be a little bit of shading. You know, like from the front it looks like there's shading, but you look at it from the side and not so much. So again, it could just be shadows and my mind playing tricks on me and all that good stuff. But I have to say, overall, I do like this mold. I think the colors are great, and even though it doesn't have a lot of paint apps, it has what it needs to be this version of Batman. Now let's take a look at the articulation. He can look up that high, and you can see it kind of gaps there a little bit, and it looks like it's a dumbbell in the neck. And then he can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck, so raves at Wayne Manor later, and then he's got tons of waggle in there. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulders, this piece is going to get in the way a little bit, I know, of it going all the way around, but it does nonetheless go all the way around. And you can see it's got, I'm not sure exactly how to explain this hinge, but it goes back and forth like butterfly. It goes up, it goes down, so it just moves all around. Cut here at the upper bicep for another 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow, and you can see how the pieces kind of come out just a little bit to help with that range of motion. So you get that much bend out of the elbow. At the wrist, it's on that ball with 2 pins on it, and it's set to in and out, but you can set it to up and down if you want. It will rotate around 360 degrees. And of course, he comes with a set of fists on him, and, you know, nice molded, I don't know what you call these things, spikes. I always call them spikes on his gloves. I'm sure there's an actual name for it, but I never learned it, or at least if I did, I don't remember it. Now there's a cut here where the chest and the abdomen meet, and he gets all kinds of hula there. I think it's on a double dumbbell. It's on a full dumbbell. So, and then I think there's a ball joint here at the waist as well, yeah, and it moves all around too. So in conjunction, those two, he gets like hula from hell, and so he can just acrobat the hell out of it. And with those two working in conjunction, he can bend back that far, and you can see it does leave a gap right here in the chest. And then straighten it up, he can lean forward that far, and when you do, it leaves a little bit of a gap in the back, but not a whole bunch. And then at the upper torso cut, he does do a 360 degree rotation, and then at the waist he also gets 360 degrees of rotation. Just make sure you rotate it back into place properly. Now at the thighs, he does have pull down hinge, so that's very cool. And with that engaged, well, before we do that, let's see how much of the splits Batman gives us. So he gives us that much of the splits, so that's okay for a Batman, you know, in the Keaton suit. He can kick forward, we'll go ahead and call that 90 degrees, and back probably about a full step. Let's straighten that leg up. Yeah, it looks like about a full step. Now there's no cut here at the thigh, but he does get a little bit of rotation here at that hip joint, so there is that. And then let's move those back into place. Then here at the knee, it's a double hinged pinless knee, and just like the elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's cool. No boot cuts. So, you know, any rotation in the leg, it all depends on right here, this ball joint at the hip. And the ankles are the same pinned ball joint, just like the wrists. And it does give you that much tilt down, that much tilt up. And it will, well, I thought it was swivel, it doesn't. But it does have a forward-facing pin for a good bit of rocker there. And then, of course, he has toe tilt, and it tilts up that far and just lays flat. Now, as far as the cape goes, it's wired, and it's wired in several places. Well, I say it is. Maybe those are just pleats. Maybe it's just wired on the end here. And no, there's some other wires in it as well. So, you know, you can give it that full Batman treatment. I'm coming to get you, Joker. So, there is that. And again, if you want to change the stuff out, you can pop the head off. And again, you see the dumbbell here. And then I want to say maybe you unpin these pieces on the back first. And work your way around to this front pin. And there it is. And it's exactly the same as what we looked at on the other cowl piece. And you can see there's a slot for the tab, and then there's the ports for the hole. And if you want to put the other pieces on, you just line those up and slide it right over this dumbbell piece. And you can see it's not a straight dumbbell, it's like it has an angle in it. So I like Brofogel, so I'm gonna try to put this back on. Oh, and look, this piece also moves around some as well. And it's kind of, you know, you don't get a lot of movement out of that because of the neck piece for the cape. And so, you know, I've been looking for this style of Batman for a while. I probably would have been fine with the McFarlane version, except, you know, if you didn't get it in the first 5 seconds it was available, then you're paying big prices for it. Plus no Brofogel cape option, and I've got to go in and clean that back up, I know. That, my friends, does it for a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Medicom Mafex number 215 Batman, Knight Crusader Batman, with some old Mattel DC line figures, and I can't remember which line it is. It was before they went multiverse, but you've got Batman, you've got Knightfall Batman, Classic Robin, and the Bane Build-A-Figure. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Medicom Mafex number 215 Knight Crusader Batman, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Medicom's Mafex number 215 Batman, Knight Crusader Batman, I have to say this is a really, really nice classic Batman if you followed the comics from, say, 89 through 94, 95, maybe even 96. You know, this evokes some of that artwork, especially, you know, it's got that one head with the really, really long ears that just screams Kelly Jones covers to me. And like the cape that he's got on, to me, it really says Norm Breyfogle, which was one of my favorite Batman artists. I love the way that he draws all the characters, or drew all the characters. He may no longer be with us. I'm not sure. So, if somebody knows, please put it in the comments and let me know. I know I haven't seen any of his work in a long time. So, there is that. Soft goods with wires in it for posability. You guys know I love that kind of stuff. If you've watched previous videos where figures don't have that. And the hand options are great. The head options are great. The wired bat line attached to the Batarang, I think, is really, really cool as well. I can think of some really cool poses that maybe I can do with that. And again, it's really, really cool looking, and I love all the options that you get with this figure. From, you know, taking not even having a cape on him, you've got two different capes. You know, you can put the one with the more flat shoulders on it, and it's more like Jim Apparo's art from the same time. And, you know, this one, it really kind of looks more along those lines to me, that it's following like the some of the other artists, not necessarily Aparo, but the head that's on it currently is really, to me, is really Jim Aparo. And I enjoy this figure. This is the Batman that I've been wanting from McFarlane, DC Multiverse line. This is the Batman. And I know they just did the Knightfall Batman, and unfortunately I was not able to get my hands on it. But you know what? I got my hands on this one. I think this is a better figure. And it does have lots of nice sculpted detail. The articulation scheme on it and range of motion really is, it's really, really good, and it puts the McFarlane stuff kind of to shame. And I won't say totally, but because they use some of the same articulation schemes, you know, both lines do. But this one, to me, just comes out superior. And if they were to do another version off of this mold, but in the black and gray, I would probably pick that up as well. Because, you know, it just depends on the artist and the color, and, you know, who made him blue, who colored him black. And so, and I enjoy both looks for the figure, but I think in the black and gray, the Breyfogle shoulders or the Breyfogle cape would work. It would look a lot better on that color scheme. But that's just me. I'm just waxing philosophical, I guess, about when the days when I was really into comics and the artists that I really liked back then. Now, I will say there is one complaint that I do have about this figure, because nothing can be perfect, right? And the bat symbol logo on his chest. It has a sculpted line, it looks like, on the inside of it So it was almost like there was supposed to be a black outline around it, which would have been fine. But it's just that one little line around it, and mine has a little bit of paint slop where it's not quite lined up 100% correctly, and it didn't fill in all of the area that it was supposed to, and it overlapped maybe a little bit in some other areas as far as the bat itself. But you know, that's just very minor things. If you're looking at it like from this distance, like you're seeing it on the screen now, you know, you're not really seeing that. You have to really look at it close to get that. And so I really enjoy this figure. I may pick up the Bane to go with it. I'm not sure yet. I'll just have to see how things play out. But it would be nice to have that, and then a Nightwing and a Robin. And of course I missed out on the Asbats at retail, so I don't know. I won't probably have a full set unless they reissue that one, but I'll have to play it by ear and see how it goes. But I was not disappointed in this figure, and he is my first Mafex pickup. I've been looking at him for a while. I decided to give it a test drive with this figure, and I really like it. The cape material is nice. It's not super thin, it's not super thick. The wires in it are a bit thin for ease of posability, and for the most part they hold where you put them. The cape is not too heavy for the wire, and it's more than just a wire on the outside edges. There's some on the inside as well to just help support and do other poses. And so if you guys can't tell, I really like this figure. And again, if they were to do one in the gray and black, I would probably pick that up too, especially if they did a more Brifogel-esque head to go with it. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it, look up his Batman art, you'll see what I'm talking about. And he was one of my favorite Batman artists of the time. But that's enough about that. High marks all around for this figure. Just a couple of little minor things, and that aren't major in the grand scheme. So I guess that's why I called them minor things. So I'll quit rambling now, and that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.